What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Byerly Studios for another quick project. Now, this is a smaller project. I've been sitting on this content for quite a long time, and I finally decided just to put it all together and get it on my YouTube page here. Now, since this project, I have decided to make this version of Tumbler in a lot of different ways. So this overall is 1.0, and I will be making other versions of this here soon with different levels of detail and work. So we're starting off with a 30-ounce skinny tumbler, base coated in just a glossy white. And what we're doing is we're just going to go ahead and use a combination of alcohol inks to apply a nice deep wood grain to this. So you kind of see me run through this in the first minute or so of the video before I move into picking out some paint colors. If you haven't realized by the thumbnail, this is going to be a painter's palette tumbler. Just kind of simple in a lot of ways, a little bit of abstract fun, and I just think it gives us a really just cool effect overall. I've probably had this content sitting on my hard drive on my iPad for probably at least 6 months or so, and I just finally decided I'm gonna put this video out. Why not? So sit back and enjoy. We're about to move into the painting portion. Look how good that wood grain looks. By itself, it is amazing. So what I want to do is I'm going to take acrylics, Winsor Newton acrylic paints, and I'm just going to dab them onto the tumbler and work my way down. So we're going to choose out a bunch of nice variety of colors, almost a rainbow effect, starting with cadmium yellow hue. I have sap green, hooker's green. I also have a deeper green there. I can't remember the name. I also have ultramarine blue, Winsor blue. I have, let's see here, permanent rose, cadmium red hue, alizarin crimson, and then a permanent orange hue as well. There they are lined up. So I'm going to do a color swatch just to make sure I like how the overall lineup is. And this is just a cutout away from the paper so I can kind of get an idea where I want that to be positioned before I start to run them down the tumbler. I think it's going to pop against that wood grain pretty good. So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of just deciding where I want my thumb to be. I kind of want this to be an abstract look to it. And I'll probably make some versions in the future that will also be abstract. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to mark with an acrylic pen here where I want the line of blended colors to scroll down the cup. So starting off with the colors in order there, we're just going to lay those down the cup. I'm adding a titanium white and then the browns, a burnt umber, a raw umber, and then raw sienna as well, just to give it some variation. And I'm just going to blend those down until I just get the consistency I want. I'll blend in some of the white and lighten up some of those tones. This by itself is just a fun thing to do. If you get a lot of colors in your acrylic paint box and you just want to have fun with them, just see how the colors mix and things like that. This is just really fun, just to blend colors, just free, natural. You don't have to make them for any particular project, but just doing it for fun. Just to see what kind of colors you can create apart from the norm. Blend in a few of those browns there, and then I'll start to introduce some of those the titanium white into some of those colors. I really like adding the titanium white in, and I'm glad that I did so. Just kind of blending those colors in. I think that when I remake this in the future in different versions, I've already got a lot of ideas that are sprouting from this original palette tumbler build. That what I'd like to do is I'd like to just create just a color palette that I use naturally during my painting ventures in the studio, and whatever is on that cup or item just is what I ship out. So that way it's not just a line of colors, it's just natural colors that I happen to be using in the studio for particular projects. Although those would be the colors that I'm using and not just a wide range of colors. So that'd be something I might be interested in the future. They blended so well together. It looks absolutely incredible. And you'll see here in a little while when they have epoxy over them just to give them a little level of protection, then it's just really nice. I did leave a little bit of glob of that paint. You will feel that through the epoxy slightly. And now I'm doing, like I said, I'm kind of getting an idea how I would possibly hold the tumbler, because I want it to have like an abstract thumb hole where my thumb would possibly go through a painter's palette to hold it in my hand. But before I mark off where I want that hole to be, I was playing with the idea of attaching some brushes, whether they be new or old brushes that have kind of been worn down, that I don't need anymore, to the side of the tumbler, just to give it more of a painter aspect. I don't know if I'm going to do that for this one. I kind of want this to be just a low profile. I'm not super 3D, so I'll probably come back with those other versions probably in the next few months and release a 2.0, a 3.0, and a 4.0, different versions of the same overall general build. So playing with those ideas. So I wanted this to have an overall kind of like just an abstract look to it a little bit, just kind of just have fun, be free with the art. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a thumb hole to simulate the thumb hole on a painter's board palette. And I wanted to have just a dark hole with a stainless steel sheen from behind to make it look like it was the inside of the tumbler. And then I wanted to have like a coffee epoxy drip come from the hole all the way down. So here I am just applying the silver to kind of get the build that I want. And then I'm going to apply some browns to the bottom of the hole just to get an idea how I want that coffee to be rolling out of the hole. Now, I had made a two-part epoxy and acrylic mix here, but what happens is I added too much acrylic to the mix and it did not set up properly. So instead of it being nice and runny, it looks super sticky, and it is, guys. This thing was crazy sticky and it did not set up properly. It wasn't curing right. So I like to include my mistakes when I make them. I made a mistake here and I ended up having to scrub all of this off. It didn't hurt the tumbler in any way, and instead I used puffy paint. So what that did is it added an extra step for me. Instead of just adding the highlights to the epoxy mix, I have to hand paint the entire coffee mixture, and that is okay. I started off with a dark brown base, and then I worked those up into some Mars black, and then I started to lighten the tone up a little bit by adding titanium white to my browns, and then I'll kind of bring in some more rich, maybe some burnt umber to that as well, just to bring up those browns even more, and then I'll highlight those with some light titanium white and raw sienna. So I kind of got the opportunity to hand paint a little bit here. Maybe I should have used the paint on my painter's palette there. Brought that down and around to the bottom of the tumbler, so that way the bottom of the tumbler just isn't plain. I wanted it to have some dimension, so you can see I wanted to make the coffee to where it's kind of sitting around the rim of the tumbler there. Just as if where you sit it on your desk, it would create like a coffee ring on your desk. So just something different, a little aspect. I'll probably always include something like this in all of the builds that I do. I don't like to leave things undone like the bottom of a cup. Got to include something down there just to bring it all together. Applying a few of those titanium white and raw sienna highlights. And then I'm just going to darken the edges just to simulate where the coffee would be running down. There could possibly be some shadow there around the edges. So I'll apply a little bit of shadow there just to define it. It blends pretty well. I like the way it looks. It's not supposed to stand out too much. It's just supposed to be just some running coffee down the side of the tumbler. Alright guys, this thing turned out absolutely incredible. All the detail work is knocked out. Let's get some epoxy on this bad boy, and then we'll roll into some glamour shots. This is a nice, quick, fun build, and you'll see things like this return on my channel here soon. I do appreciate y'all watching this video. I am trying to keep the video content a little bit shorter now, but thank you for all you do, guys. Please subscribe, like, and I will catch you on the next video. Later, guys.